Number 8 on the list, I wrote down USC. And I've already talked about Lincoln Riley versus Oklahoma fans, but you get what I'm saying here. Looking forward to finding out how Lincoln Riley responds to the worst season he has had in his career as a head coach. 7-5, needing to win the Holiday Bowl to get to 7 wins. Now, the Holiday Bowl figures into this discussion because in a season where there seemed to be like 2 bowl games that absolutely matter, and we got 41 bowl games, the Holiday Bowl mattered for SC because they're playing a Louisville team that was really good, that made the ACC title game, and they were playing without Caleb Williams, and they were playing without Malachi Nelson. So Miller Moss was the guy by default. And I remember Miller Moss as the guy who was still on the sideline in 2022 as Caleb Williams was out there against Utah on one leg going, that's how little faith you got in that guy? Turns out he's developed since then, or maybe it was just that Caleb Williams is that much better on one leg than Miller Moss. But I'm not so sure that that's true anymore, as Miller had a really great time against Louisville. See what I did there? Now, he threw 6 TDs in that game, and Lincoln Riley said in the postgame press conference he probably scared off anybody that ever wanted to come here. And if you were following the rumors and the news as it was coming, Will Howard might have been at USC, and then Miller Moss threw for 6 TDs. And now Will Howard is at Ohio State, right? Now, I don't think that Lincoln Riley is done in the portal by a long shot, but I think Moss's really great outing against a really great team in a bowl game that, well, us old folks like the Holiday Bowl used to absolutely mean something, means quite a bit to him. Now, the next thing to ask here is, can Danton Lynn do what neither Mike Stoops nor Alex Grinch could do with Lincoln Riley? And that is put together the kind of defense that is capable of leading you to the college football playoff and not getting you spanked. Okay? Now, he went to UCLA to go get the rising star. That's the defensive coordinator, and he's installed him. What I'm curious about is how that's going to marry with the scheme that Riley is going to employ in 2024, because it felt to me like we finally reached this moment where Lincoln Riley's offense is not defensively friendly, right? If you want to be predicated on taking the ball away from people and tackles for loss so you can get it back to the offense, one of the things that you actually want from the offense is a breather. And Riley's offense isn't interested in breathers. They're going for 6 on every single play whenever they can. Now, are you going to change your play calling up just a little bit, given what Michigan was able to do this year, given what Alabama was able to do this year? Maybe. That remains to be seen. And the last thing that I really want to know about USC in 2024, can USC, Hector, and them, right, the folks from Troy, go up there to the Kings in the North, the Ann Arbor Achayans, and throw down? Because USC got to go to Ann Arbor in September this season. And while we have no idea what either one of those rosters are actually going to be like, these are 2 brands that we're all very excited about. This is a traditional Rose Bowl matchup that now we're going to get to see on the regular because they're in the same conference, baby. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on, but this is a pivotal year, not just because SC is joining the Big Ten, but because we're going to get to find out what kind of backbone Lincoln Riley has after a season where he ain't win no 10 games. Okay? I'm also going to get to find out just how badly USC fans want to keep Lincoln Riley around if they don't get to a 10-win season in their first year in the Big Ten. Lot riding on this season for the Trojans. Number 7 on the list, Oklahoma, but particularly quarterback. I got a prediction here. The first prediction I'm going to throw down in this particular episode, but Jackson Arnold becomes Oklahoma's first 4,000-yard passer since Kyler Murray. Now, you've seen him enough to know that dude has all the talent in the world. He can make every throw, and he's got a cannon. Now, can you develop him into the kind of dude that can be a little bit more careful with the ball and get the ball out of his hands in a shorter amount of time, right? So I'm thinking if Kyler Murray could go for 4,000 and 1,000, that Jackson Arnold could at very least go for 4,500. Now, Kyler Murray is a special kind of player, right? And 4,000, 1,000 guys just, they don't come out of nowhere. But if anybody has the talent on campus to do it since then, it is that guy. I'm also interested to see what Brent Venables does defensively right now, right, as we're taping this on a Tuesday for Thursday, right? You're seeing this on Thursday. I know we are interested in finding out whether or not Zach Alley is going to be the defensive coordinator at Oklahoma. And if he is, it's going to be a dude that Brent Venables helped raise, right? Like legitimately. That dude showed up at 17 years old and wanted to be a head coach, wanted to get into coaching, didn't try out for the team, went straight to being a student assistant for Dabo Swinney, and basically was tied to the hip with Brent Venables since 2011. I would like to see what this looks like on a football field because the defense just let Oklahoma down, particularly against Arizona. And a little bit later on, when we're talking about Oklahoma State and Kansas and just what the foibles, or I should say the weaknesses of this defense were. I want to see Jackson Arnold have a defense that can carry him from time to time because he's going to go into an SEC that's loaded, but also I think the most difficult schedule on earth in 2024.
If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.